A man is walking down the street when he sees a poor young woman selling vegetables in front of him. He walks over, kicks her vegetables, and says, "Where did this smelly beggar come from? Get out of here." The young woman stands up, grabs his arm, and says, "Oh, little brother." The man angrily says, "Keep your hands off me. Don't dirty my clothes." The young woman says, "I'm not a beggar. I have a cucumber. Here, have it. I want to ask you about someone." The man takes the cucumber from her, snaps it in half, and says, "Who wants your stinky cucumber?" Then he walks away. After he leaves, the young woman sits down and picks up the broken cucumber. A little while later, another man walks by and some money falls out in front of the young woman. She picks up the money and hands it back to him. The man looks at it and says, "Oh, these really are mine. Thank you, sister." He takes the money and starts to leave, but the young woman calls out, "Excuse me, big brother, The man takes out some money and offers it to her, saying, "Here, this is for you." The young woman says, "Oh, I don't want your money." The man asks, "What are you saying?" The young woman replies, "I want to ask you about someone. She lives around here. By the way, I even have her address." She takes out the address and hands it to him. The man takes the address and says, "Oh, I live in this same neighborhood. Who are you looking for?" The young woman says, "I'm looking for my biological younger sister. Her name is Alex." The man says, "She's my wife." The young woman happily says, "Well, that's wonderful. That means you're my brother-in-law." The man says to her, "Don't worry. I'll call my wife and confirm everything. Maybe there's just some misunderstanding." The young woman replies, "Okay, go ahead and call her. She gave me this address herself." The man carefully looks at the address and says, "Oh, this really is my house." Then he says to the young woman, "Big sister, it's very hot outside. Let's go home first, and then we can talk comfortably." The man picks up her belongings, and the two of them leave together. After arriving home, the man says to her, "Please come in, big sister. Have a seat." The young woman replies, "Okay." Then she sits down. She says to him, "Brother-in-law, if you don't mind, this cucumber was grown on our own farm. Please have some." The man takes the cucumber from her, starts eating it, and says, "Alex and I got married in 2007. At the time of our wedding, she told me that all of her elders and relatives had passed away. She said she only had one older sister left." The young woman says, "Alex had been in a few relationships before, but whenever she took a man to our village, he would immediately break up with her after seeing how modest our home was. So I advised her, if you ever fall in love again, tell him that you don't have any relatives." Just then, her younger sister comes home and says to her husband, "Honey, I'm back." Her husband says, "Alex, take a good look at who's here in our house." The young woman looks at her older sister and says, "She just having up here." Her husband angrily says, "Alex, she's your biological sister. Even after she came all the way here, you're still lying." After saying that, he walks away. His wife follows him and says, "Honey, please let me explain," but he keeps walking. After he leaves, the younger sister says to her older sister, "Look what you've done. You made my husband so angry. Tell me, did you come here on purpose just to cause problems between us?" Her older sister sadly replies, "Oh, sister, I truly missed you. It's been so many years since we last saw each other." The younger sister says angrily, "Fine, just tell me the truth. Why did you come here today?" The older sister says, "The truth is, while working, Mom broke her leg. The doctor said she has to be admitted to the hospital for treatment. Please lend me 60,000. The younger sister angrily replies, 60,000? If I give you that kind of money, how am I supposed to support myself? Mom is already so old anyway. Even if she doesn't get treatment, what difference does it make?" Then she says, "I don't have any money. You can leave now." Just then, her husband, who has overheard everything, walks over and says, "You can't leave." His wife comes over and says, "Honey, don't give her that much money or they'll keep bothering us again and again." Her husband says, "Alex, your parents worked so hard to raise you, and now that they're in trouble and urgently need money, you refuse to help them. The greatest act of kindness is serving your parents. Don't you feel even a little ashamed in your heart?" His wife says, "Honey, do you mean that you don't look down on them just because they were born in the countryside and come from a simple family?" Her husband replies, "I have never looked down on people who live in the countryside. I have always wanted to take good care of my own parents and your older sister as well." The young woman realizes her mistake and says to her older sister, "Sister, please forgive me, and I also apologize to Mom. From now on, I will sincerely take care of all of you." Her husband walks over to her older sister and says, "Big sister, here's 100,000. We've been saving this money. Take it and use it for Mom's treatment. Once she recovers, we'll bring her here to live with us." She takes the money and says, "Okay, thank you so much, brother-in-law." Then the younger sister says, "I'll cook a meal with my own hands for everyone so we can all sit together and enjoy a happy family dinner." Finally, her husband turns to the viewers and says, "I want to say this to all sisters and all elderly women. Our parents raised us with love and sacrifice, so it is our responsibility to take care of them in their old age. Respecting and caring for our elders is one of the greatest responsibilities of a good human being."